Every morning at sunrise, Daniel laced up his worn-out boots, kissed his sleeping daughter on the forehead, and quietly slipped out the door. With a backpack over one shoulder and tired eyes, he walked 4 miles each way to his daughter Lily's school. Not because she forgot her lunch or he had business there, but because he had no car, no money for the bus, and he couldn't bear the thought of her walking alone through the rough neighborhood they lived in. What Daniel didn't know was that someone had started noticing, someone who was quietly watching from a distance. Daniel had never planned on being a single father. His wife had passed away in childbirth, leaving him with a tiny baby girl and a mountain of grief. He gave up everything, his job, his dreams, his freedom, to raise Lily. Life didn't make space for self-pity. He worked odd jobs, dishwashing, fixing broken fences, cleaning garages, whatever he could do in between school hours. His greatest fear wasn't poverty. It was failing Lily. Every night he made sure her homework was done, her clothes were clean, and her smile stayed bright, even if his hands were rough and his eyes heavy with fatigue. At Lily's school, the other parents barely noticed him. He didn't stand out. No fancy car, no designer clothes, just a tired man who walked his daughter to school and waved goodbye at the gate. But Principal Anderson had started paying attention. She noticed that, rain or shine, Daniel was there. Always walking. Always holding Lily's hand until the last moment. Then he'd turn around and disappear down the same cracked sidewalks he came from. She grew curious. Who was this man? Why did he walk? What was his story? One chilly morning, Daniel dropped Lily off and headed back. Principal Anderson made a quick decision. She grabbed her coat and followed him discreetly. As she trailed behind, she saw him stop to help an elderly man fix his groceries, then offer the last piece of bread he had in his pocket to a stray dog. He didn't know anyone was watching. He just did good because it was in his nature. Halfway through the walk, Daniel's steps slowed. He winced, rubbing his foot. His old boots were falling apart. Still, he pressed on. Principal Anderson stopped in her tracks, realizing the weight this man carried every day. By the time Daniel reached his small, run-down apartment, she had seen enough. The next morning, Daniel arrived at the school, expecting a usual day. But this time, Principal Anderson was waiting at the gate. She smiled and asked to speak with him. Nervously, he followed her to the office. There, she handed him a letter. Confused, he opened it and stared. It was a full scholarship for Lily. Not just for tuition, but meals, supplies, even a school uniform stipend. And next to it, a job offer. Maintenance supervisor at the school, with benefits and a flexible schedule so he could still be there for his daughter. Daniel's voice broke as he tried to speak. Principal Anderson gently said, "You've been walking miles for her. It's time someone walked a few steps for you." From that day forward, everything began to shift. Daniel took the job and poured his heart into it. Lily thrived at school, no longer worrying about books or lunches. They moved into a small but better apartment near the school. Daniel's health improved. His spirit, once worn and quiet, began to shine again. Years later, when Lily graduated as valedictorian, she stood on that same school stage and looked at the crowd. "My dad walked me to school every day," she said. "Not just on the road, but through life. He never had much, but he gave me everything." Tears filled the eyes of everyone in the room, including Principal Anderson, who sat proudly in the front row. Moral of the story: some heroes don't wear capes or drive fancy cars. Sometimes, they walk miles quietly each day, carrying the weight of love on their shoulders. And sometimes, just sometimes, the world watches and decides to walk beside them.